You do not have to rush into that relationship without knowing the things that God wants you to know. There are lots of things that are hidden that you have not known unless it is revealed to you, and that is what God is about to show you now. Before you accept that relationship proposal or go to that person that your heart yearns after, it is important you take note of these things before you decide to take a step. God wants you to see motives behind your emotion. There is always purpose and reason for anything that happens in the life of man, and to whatsoever the heart of man imagines, there is a driving force to it, and it could be for good or for evil. God wants you to know the motives behind the affection. God wants you to know the reason that person is coming to you, and you have to observe and see the reason. You cannot relax your mind and think every feeling is with the best intention, because the heart of man is unpredictable and you cannot know it. Someone may come to you with sweet words of understanding and love to show you that they have genuine love for you, but the truth remains that it is not everything that glitters that are gold, and it is not everyone that says they are telling you the truth that are actually telling you the truth. Some want to tell you those things to ensure that you drown in the ocean of their word, and when your heart is trapped and they have won your emotion, they can easily unleash their motive and intentions towards you. Before you enter into that relationship, before you allow yourself to be trampled upon by someone you do not know, seek the face of God. Let Him direct you. Always ask yourself, what is driving them towards you? What do they want with you, or what are their intentions for that relationship? These are some of the questions you must have answers to. These are some of the things God wants you to know before venturing into that relationship. God wants to show you that you matter to Him in that relationship. We are always too quick to think unpleasant situation is a means of punishment to us when we obey and trust God for certain things in life. God wants you to first know it, that you are His seed. You are the apple of His eye, and whatever touches you also touches Him. You might not know that God bears you in His heart, but you will always want to do things in your own way. You will want to make your own choices and ignore the voice of the Lord in your life. It ought not to be like that, because you following in that step may make you lose out on God's promises for your life. You will eventually begin to feel God is not faithful at keeping His promises. God does not want to lose your soul to the belief that you have no help in Him. That is the reason He wants to show you how good He is to you. God wants to show you how big His love is for you. You may want to complain that you want to go into that relationship now. You do not have luxury of time to yourself to wait anymore. But God is intentional in the things that He is doing for you, and one way of expressing His intentions for you is to stop you from getting into that relationship without knowing the things He wants you to know. He loves you, and you mean a lot to Him. You cannot see His intentions for you until you realize this. Then you will see that God has the best intentions for you in all things. When you matter to God, He does everything to give you all that you deserve and desire. Listen, it may not be easy for you to comprehend the plans of God for your life now, but you will know it when you are ready. Your heart may have been overwhelmed by the wave of the prevailing condition of your emotional feeling for that person, that you do not care what others are saying to you. You do not concern yourself on what God is doing and what His concerns are for you. All you are concerned with is the fact that you love that person and you will do everything to stay with that person no matter what the case may be. All those are going to take you to the destination that God has not prepared for you. Your life is precious, and you have to see that that is what God is showing you. When you think of God's plans for your life, especially your marital destiny, you will not hurriedly rush into that relationship. God wants to show you His place in that relationship before you go into it. In the beginning, it is written that it was God. So everything you ought to do must have God as its foundation. You may have not known this tip, and it is what God wants to tell you, that you should not enter into that relationship without making Him the foundation of the relationship. Do you love God to give Him all that you have? Can you give your relationship to the Lord to be the Lord of your relationship? To be the captain, the driver, and the sailor? If God gives you that relationship, will you give it back to Him to be in control? You have to settle this before you go into that relationship. That is what God wants to show you before you go into that relationship. That He wants you to make Him the Lord over that relationship, so that He will guide you and guard you all right in it. Life is very beautiful and love is a beautiful thing as well, but life and love with God in it as the captain is the best anyone can have. If you know this, you will have the best life and the best love relationship because everything will be directed by the Lord. How good it will be when God is in charge of your relationship, when you receive every instruction from Him with ease. God's say about that relationship matters to guide you before you say yes to that relationship. The true character of that person. Have you made any attempt to investigate, inquire, or observe the true character of that person you are developing feelings for? A lot of people rush into relationships without knowing who they are really dating until it becomes too late. You may not know everything, but God knows that there are things that you have not known about that person. God wants you to take your time to see those characters that do not just show up in the haste. He wants you to see those attitudes in that person, if you can handle them or not, before you make that decision. You will not see these attitudes and habits unless God shows them to you, and when God shows you, He expects you to make the right decision from that revelation He has shown you. You are privileged to have a God that wants you to always stay safe in everything that you do. You are blessed to know that God has good plans for you, and with these good plans, you will not miss the blessings that He has prepared for you. God wants to show you that you are not properly equipped for that relationship. What do you know about relationships? What experience and capacity have you built for the relationship that you are about to enter? What is your understanding and view about relationships? God wants you to see that you have not really built that relational attitude to help you to relate with that person with all ease, even when it is very difficult to do so. You need experience and understanding. You need wisdom and knowledge to keep your relationship going. God wants you to see that you are empty and not filled with the power to make it. God wants you to see that you need to work on yourself before you enter into that relationship. God wants you to know those things that you need to be with in that relationship so that it will be a rosy one for you. You have to open your eyes to see the things the Spirit of God is showing to you and is trying to make you understand. You have to know the things that are not necessary for a relationship to grow. This is what God wants for you. He wants you to see how vulnerable you are and work on yourself before you enter into that relationship. All these things and more are the things that God wants you to see before you go into that relationship proposal or before you propose a relationship to someone.